Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, and a little bit of laughter. Because as we know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our fantastic Fresh Starts experts, Lisser. Lisa, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. I am a divorce and life transition coach. What that means is I support you through the overwhelm. You're confused. You don't know what to do first. You don't know who to call first. Call me. I will help you get some clarity because this is scary. And I know when it was my story, I didn't know who to talk to first. All I could think of, oh my God, I have to get a lawyer. And that was scary. So before you do that, call your divorce coach because I can help you gain ideas on what you need to do first and what's most important to you. So that's like in general what I do. And I'm here to like explain more about what is divorce coaching and how it can be a game changer and provide so much added value to your whole divorce process.
Absolutely. And, something I think about a lot is that first step of divorce, right? We're not educated in how to get divorced. That's just not something we talk about. We're taught how to get married in a lot of ways, but we're not taught how to get divorced. And I literally every day, I'm like, how can we make this easier for people? Because there's so many terms you don't know and so many steps. And it's that first step, right? Which is really, really overwhelming for most people I talk to. So when we say, reach out to a divorce coach, what does that look like, Lisa? Like if somebody comes to me and they say, I really want a divorce, the first thing I always tell them is let's meet up with a divorce coach, right? Lawyers should actually be like your last stop in a lot of ways, right?
I agree.
So take us down the benefits journey of working with a divorce coach for somebody that has no idea how to get started.
Okay. So the first things first is I offer 30-minute complimentary consults. So it doesn't cost you anything. That's A. You're afraid about money. That's the biggest fear for a lot of people. So we're going to talk for 30 minutes and I'm going to ask you what's going on, what led you to come into this space. And I'm also going to acknowledge that it took a lot of courage because that's a big thing. You don't get a lot of acknowledgement when you're going through divorce. You have your own shame. You have your own disappointment. You're worried about what everybody else thinks. You're afraid for your kids. And so there's no acknowledgement about what a big step this is to even start thinking about it. And that's part of what I help people with. I say, like, this is okay. You don't have to make every decision now. In fact, you don't have to make a decision now. Let's give you a lay of the land. And so that's how it starts. I help you based on what you tell me you need. And I ask you, what is the biggest issue for you right now? And that may be overwhelming. Like you may not know what the biggest issue is.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so let's roll it back and say, what is your biggest concern? Because that might be like, there's one thing that's keeping you up at night more than the others. So we'll go there. And then we talk about how do you address that or how will you address that with the support of a coach? And then we go from there.
I love that. And it's so scary. And you do offer amazing support for free in the beginning. And so then let's say somebody is like, yes, I need this support. How do you work with people? Like, what does that look like? And what does a divorce coach do? Like, people are confused listening.
Okay, so technically, let's go to that.
Yep.
If after that first session, you're like, yes, I want to work with you, how does that work? So divorce coaches are not lawyers. Divorce, even though I am a lawyer or I've been a lawyer, I don't, this is not about practicing law. You are buying a package of sessions. So I offer you 3 different options up front, and it could be a quickie, like 2 sessions. It could be a little bit more intense so you get a sense of it. So offer 6 sessions.
Mhm.
And I also offer 12 sessions, which is like 3 months of working together to really get your strategy going and
Yeah.
to support you maybe when you're going through some difficult things, especially with your ex or
Yeah.
with your kids. Like,
Yeah.
so I give you 3 options. And actually, if those don't work for you, we find the one that works for you. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I say, look, if that's too expensive, let's try 3 45-minute sessions instead of
Mm.
2 60-minute sessions. You'll get a little more time and I can adjust the pricing. Like
Yeah.
I'm flexible, even though I do have to have boundaries.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, we know. But you've been there, so you understand.
right. I mean, and that's a big piece of it. Um,
Yeah.
I've been divorced. It was not easy. When I tell my story, like it took 5 years for me to finally get the courage to say, okay, we're really done. And then it actually took 3 years to go through that process. And
Yeah.
I still didn't have a plan,
Mm.
even though it took me so long to decide. And so all I could think of, if I had someone on my side
Yeah.
who I could ask the questions to, who I could tell what I was afraid of, who didn't have a stake in the relationship,
Right.
because that's a big piece. Everyone in your life who loves you cares about what happens to you, but has been part of your relationship. So
Mm.
they have their own perspective and they are not experts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's hard. You're swayed by that. And a divorce coach helps you stay grounded in what your values are and what your needs are. So I help you with your values, but I also help you understand the practical layout of divorce.
Mm.
How does divorce work, right? Who are the various different professionals who could support you other than the lawyer?
Right.
And I have people to refer you to.
Yeah.
Like I work with a lot of CDFAs, and CDFAs are certified divorce financial advisors. So many of us don't really know their financial situation, and we may be ashamed about that. We may be
Mm.
like, what was wrong with me that I let that go?
Right.
And I absolve you of that shame.
Mm.
Um, it's not your fault. This is how the dynamic of your relationship worked.
Right.
Different jobs were delegated to different roles, right?
Mhm.
Your ex had this role and you had that role. And it's okay. But now it's time for you to start taking control. And you're allowed. You're allowed to take control. And a CDFA helps you look at your whole financial picture
Yep.
and start to think about, what do I need? What can I live with? What do I want? And make a plan for the division of assets, but also a plan for how to live into the future.
Mhm.
And that's important because sometimes you're just thinking about, I just got to get out. What do I get out with?
Yeah.
And I'll figure the rest out later. A CDFA helps you start planning for that future.
Mm.
And when you work with me and a CDFA, I can work on your values. I can work on, do you want to go back to work? Are you working? Do you need to shift? Do you need to go back to school? And how does that all work so that you can articulate that to the financial professional?
Right.
And now you have a blueprint. So if you go to mediation, which I always recommend first,
Mhm.
then you actually know what you want. You're not going in blind.
Yeah.
And again, that was something that I experienced. I
Yeah.
went in blind, even though I had an attorney.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I know the answer here, but you're saying a lot of things, Lisa, right? And a lot of like expert support and a lot of investment. How can this actually save me money down the road by working with a divorce coach?
Yes, 100%. The reason it saves you money is because it shortens the process. You might not need that high-powered lawyer that charges 5, 6, 700 an hour
Uh-huh.
or even 400 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm less.
Yeah.
And if I can give you a strategy to go in, then you're going to spend less time with the higher priced professionals. And if you're in a situation that's high conflict, you're going to get your voice back.
Mm.
That's really, priceless, as they say on the commercial.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but having a plan and feeling educated changes the whole way you approach the divorce.
Yeah.
And and that being said, you'll probably wind up with a better settlement that actually takes into account your future, which not only saves you money, but gives you money.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's something that's really important to note. I mean, I remember calling my divorce lawyer so emotional, and she was like, "You have to call me back," and then billed me, right, for the time that I called her that she told me to call back. And, I always like to remind people, like, the divorce coach is there to hold all of that so that you don't turn to your lawyer. And what I found working with people that I referred to divorce coaches help you organize, right? So you look like an A+ student to your lawyer, and then they're gonna maybe treat you a little bit differently because you're not all over the place.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. If you show up to your lawyer dysregulated, emotional,
Yeah.
unclear, they're going to have one perspective of you. They're going to think in their head, I got to manage this client. This is my
Yep.
difficult client. But if you show up for your lawyer with an actual plan, with priorities
Yep.
and a blueprint, and say, this is where I am and this is where I want to end up, they know exactly what they need to do.
Right.
And the other thing I do for that dysregulated client is I help them roll it back.
Mm.
So in other words, sometimes you call your lawyer and you just spit out everything.
Yep.
So I say, call me first.
Mhm.
Call me first. I'm not expensive. I'm not the same price as your lawyer. And I will help you find the 3 bullets that you need to say to
Right.
your lawyer.
Right.
And when you can have that clarity, it changes everything.
Everything. Yeah, it changes everything. What do you wish more people knew about divorce coaches?
Uh, that we exist.
We're
That
working on it. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate this because there are plenty of people who go through divorce and have no clue that there is even a field of divorce coaching. And I was just talking to someone who got divorced. It was final in February. He never heard of a divorce coach.
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
I wish I knew because this field is really a burgeoning new field that is
Mhm.
going to change the game.
Yep.
It's going to change how divorce plays out. And I talk to lawyers. I have lawyers who I really respect. They still don't understand the power of divorce coaching. So so when I go in with a client, and I don't go into the room with you, I give you a voice so that you can do it yourself.
Mhm.
And that is so powerful,
Yeah.
right? And now your lawyer knows that you're getting the clarity because you're working with someone.
Right.
And the difference between the divorce coach and the therapist is that I'm not digging into your past and like making you sit in the soup of what happened and what you did wrong and how you have to fix that and you have to resolve that. That's not me. My job is to say, this is where you are.
Yep.
Let's figure out where you want to go. I value where you've been. I don't
Right.
disrespect that, but I'm not analyzing you and I'm not asking you to stay there.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah.
Sometimes when you're working on issues with therapists, you go back into that hard space and
Yeah.
that's not fun.
No. No.
That's not fun. And divorce isn't fun,
No.
but we do laugh and
Mhm.
I do give you clarity where you can have the aha moment
Yeah.
and say, I didn't know that before.
Right. Yeah.
You know, what I often say is, the lawyers are experts in law. You are the expert in your life.
Mm.
And you might feel like you don't know anything, but you do know what's going on in your life and what you need.
Yeah.
No one ever asked you.
Mm. Yeah. And I love that you are so dedicated to working with people about their values and their spiritual system and,
Yeah.
you know, using the divorce process as a real transformational moment in their life instead of just something you have to get through.
Yeah. And I have clients that I work through the muck of the divorce, and
Hmm.
we did that for months.
Yeah.
Then they got the clarity. I mean, even in 6 weeks, we saw clarity. And now I'm working with them on a monthly basis,
Mm,
helping them create a new career and
love that.
giving them targets for that. I have one
Yeah.
client who decided to get certified as a life coach,
I love that.
and
Yeah.
that's really powerful.
Yeah. Well, it's powerful to have at least one person who believes in you.
Yeah.
Right? That's really what it comes down to. So if people are interested in working with Lisa, you can obviously go to Fresh Starts. Lisa's over there. She has her profile. You can schedule a free consultation directly from her profile. And of course, you can reach out to us and we'll connect you directly to Lisa. Lisa, before we let you go, if somebody's listening to this and they're considering divorce, but they're a little scared, what would be some words of encouragement you could leave them with?
So I would say, I know it's scary. I've been there, but this is a moment and you're going to walk through it. And there's another side. Sometimes that's the hardest thing because when you're in it, it feels like this trauma will never end,
Yeah.
but you're going to get to the other side and the challenges will be different, but you'll be armed with tools and confidence because you got through something hard. And so I just want to say you have to take the first step. And it's a hard first step. You're not exactly sure where it's going to lead. And it feels like a dark, unknown chaos. But I'm going to open up some light for you. And that's the beauty, like opening the light.
I love it. What a way to end. Thank you so much. We're so thrilled that you're part of our community and the support you give to people is priceless. So we appreciate you and thank you for taking the time today.
Oh, my pleasure. I love being part of Fresh Starts. It's such an inspiring community.
Thank you, Lisa. Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.